The Marketing Funnel Strategy Show. More leads. More sales. More predictability.
Introducing Jared Hyman, sales and marketing expert. Introducing Serena Carley, marketing and outsourcing expert.
Hey there everyone, welcome to the Marketing Funnels and Strategy Show. We are going through today part 7 of the 8-part series that we're going through over the next 8, or was actually over 4 weeks. So we're in the last week of all of this now as well, on how to produce profitable, scalable marketing campaigns on social media. Really excited for today's episode. How are you doing today, Serena?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. I think we're on the qualifying section today, aren't we? Second last part or something?
Yeah, definitely are. We're on the second last point because, you know, up until this point over the whole series, we've gone over so much. There's been 6 weeks or 6 main steps that you guys have got to go through in order to create profitable, scalable marketing campaigns on social media, right? Part 7 is getting to the point. This is an area where a lot of people slip up right here because, you know, you generate a lot of leads now. You get to this point where you're generating a lot of leads. And now what it's about is you've got to really sort through and see who is the people that actually qualify for your service as well now. Because there can be a lot of wasted time, right? When we're talking about, sorry?
Don't just take anybody for the sake of taking anybody. You've got to qualify them.
Correct. Because, you know, a lot of the recent studies have been that, you know, 95% of the people that come to your business aren't a right fit for your product, your service. That's the unfortunate thing. 95% of people aren't a right fit for your product and service that come to you. So this part to it is pretty darn important, right? Because you can waste a lot of time just getting through things if you haven't got some structures in place. We speak to a lot of business owners that are carrying a lot of payment plans, that are carrying a lot of like risk in their business. We mitigate a lot of things through our product and or the way that we do things, right? And we've been doing this for quite a while now. We've gone through a lot of the mistakes when it comes to, you know, carrying risk in your business as well. And, you know, how to go about attracting those people that are profitable. Because if you look at, you know, the first step that we spoke about is, how do you think like a marketer? How do you think like an investor? How do you think that what do you got to think about when it comes to running campaigns, right? How have you got to think? Because a large percentage of the game is, you know, you are the biggest bottleneck. You're the reason why you are being held back. And if you can think correctly, you can think like an actual marketer, somebody that is going to win on social media, someone that is going to grow and grow incredibly fast as well. How you think plays so much to it. Then, you know, now that you know how to do that, how do you attract the right audience? Who's the audience, right? Because literally 95% of people aren't going to value or they might value product and service and things like that, but they might not have the money, right? So, you know, how do you find the right audience? How do you find the sort of, I guess, 20% of people that's going to get you 80% of the results to be able to grow your business? I'm sure you've all heard of the 80-20 rule and how, you know, 80% of the actions only get you 20% of the results, right? Whereas if you focused on 20% of the actions, it'll help you get 80% of the results as well. So focusing on the right audience, the right people that are going to be profitable and going to help you grow your business faster, they're going to value your service, they're going to pay you more money for the service. How do you find those people? Where are they and what are their biggest challenges? All these types of things we went through in part 2. Part 3, we went into, you know, what's the message you're going to provide to those people? Then we went through, you know, what is the offer? How are you going to monetize it? What's the strategy? Then we went through last week, we went through the automation side and how important that is to be able to automate outcomes, because it takes up to 18 times to get hold of somebody. It takes up to 18 times to get a hold of somebody. And then you got to go through what we're talking about today, which is, do they qualify, right? Do they qualify to do work with you? Do they qualify to do business with you? Are they of the right mindset? You know, do they have the money to pay for the service? Is it something they're ready to do right now, right? All of these different aspects, you know, do they value your product, your service, what it is that you do? Because if they don't value it, they're not exactly going to pay you money for it. You know, are they aware that they need you right now? All really important things that you've got to understand when it comes to, you know, social media, when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to you having the ability to be able to accelerate your results. Serena, when it comes to qualification, right, what are some of the biggest things that you see that are important that people have got to understand that are watching this today?
Let me unmute first. Okay, so I was just actually tagging some people on there. So, of course, I was diverted.
That's okay.
Qualifications. Give me a hint to get my juices flowing.
Yeah, so like I said, like, you know, people have a tendency to, you know, number one, they've gone through all this stuff to be able to get to a point where they're starting to get leads coming through and things like that. And the 95% of people they're going to chat to, right, aren't going to be a right fit for their product and service, right? This is what happens with businesses. Now, you know, there's some things that businesses have got to understand when it comes to winning on social media, and some things they've got to understand as to what people have got to look for when qualifying somebody. So, you know, how do you avoid speaking to people that aren't a good fit for your business? How do you avoid that?
That comes in with your, you know, your Facebook ads, and we've gone through that in regards to doing your avatar, making sure that, you know, the people that you're trying to get are the people who are actually a right fit for your business. But even then, sometimes you'll get some in that aren't. So there's different ways of doing it. When they come in, you can do a qualifying, or some people do it, like a qualifying question, so that feeds out or weeds out, you know, sort of quite a few as well. But once again, that's sort of back on the Facebook ads as well. So are we talking around getting them initially, or we've got them and the leads are in and now you have to try and qualify them on the call, for example?
Well, you got to qualify the person. So these are the things you got to understand, guys. Number one, are they ready to do business with you now? Number two, do they value your service? Do they value who you are as a business? Do they have a direct need for your service? Number three, have they got the money to pay you for the service as well? Because 80% or 95%, sorry, of the people that are coming through aren't going to be a right fit for the service, because they're probably not going to pay you 10, 15, 20 grand for your service. Okay. But that's where 80% of a business's revenue is going to come from their higher priced service. You're not going to break any records for $50 or $100 for a one-time customer, right? And a lot of businesses rely on, you know, when you bring in one customer, bringing in repeat business, getting people to buy multiple times per year, all these different types of things. So, you know, we're talking about what are the things people have got to keep in mind to ensure that they're getting the highest quality of people through.
Well, you just said them all, didn't you?
Yeah, I said some of them. What else are your thoughts? Like, what else do you think people need to understand when it comes to this part of the process?
Well, you know, the biggest thing that I'm sort of seeing is they've got to be workable with as well, so coachable to a certain degree, because that's what you're doing is you're coaching people. It's like a business coaching, as well as, you know, creating, helping them create the outcomes. So they've got to be coachable to know that the stuff that, well, for example, what we teach people is stuff that works because we've already proved it, we're already doing it. So if they want to come in and say, yes, I need help or whatever, but, you know, this is the way I'm doing it, and don't even look at the way you're doing it, then you're not going to be able to help that person because their mindset's not correct. It's already just on, no, I already know what I'm doing. And then, of course, if there's no outcome, that will come back on top of us instead of on them, you know, saying, well, I wasn't prepared to change. So they have to have the great mindset to accept the coaching, to understand that there's a specific way, like we do something a certain way and someone wants to change it, but that's the way that's shown that it's worked, you know. I think we had a client that went the other way and it dropped. So it's like, there you go. There's the proof. You know, you did it the way you wanted to do. It's not working. Let's take it back to what we suggested and bring it back up again. And we did. So that's first and foremost. The biggest thing for me, I think, is money as well, because so everybody wants what we have, for example, to share, but you know, you can't just give it to everybody. Once again, the mindset comes into it because then they won't use it properly. But then also, if they don't have any money to be able to do anything, let alone pay for a service, let alone pay for Facebook ads to get the leads and all that sort of stuff. So that would be, you know, quite difficult. They're the two biggest things for me, I think, is the mindset. You know, come in, we know what we're doing, for example, find someone who knows what they're doing and trust in them to know the process. Get your proof that they're doing it for sure. And then, you know, trust in that process. So, you know, if you get people in that right mindset, you can qualify them. I'm just trying to think of some other things that we use apart from what you already said. I was sort of like thinking about some of the things you were saying. So I was off in La La Land and wasn't, you know, dead set in on that. I know. Stop it. Because I know as soon as I stop talking, you're going to talk and it won't give me a chance to think out what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
give me a hint and get me going.
No, these are all, there's no other hints to have hints, right? We've just spoken about heaps of it. So, you know, as business owners, we've got to, you know, you got to stipulate some terms of what you're looking for, and you got to understand that, and you got to be really stiff, right, with exactly what those T's and C's are, or those things are that you're looking for, right? So, you know, if you're in weight loss, you got to be saying, okay, I'm after someone who wants to lose weight now, right? For starters, it can't. Too many business owners go, oh, I'm looking for anybody with a heartbeat that's looking for this. But the reality is, not everybody with a heartbeat that's looking for this is going to A, value you, is going to B, have the money to pay you, and, you know, C, is going to implement what it is that you're showing them to do, or how to do, or showing them what to, or whatever that is, or implementing for them, right? Because they're not going to value that. So you got to stipulate at least two to three things, three things, right, that qualifies someone to be able to do business with you. A large percentage has to be characteristic. You know, are they of a certain mindset where they go, yep, I'm a high achiever, I can do anything or whatever, right? You gotta, like, there's got to be some characteristics about them. Consider themselves to be high achievers. We like to go down the route of, they've got to be a high achiever, or consider themselves to be a high achiever. They doesn't want to be average. The second one is, you know, we stipulate they've got to have a real business, not a hobby. Okay, we don't work with hobby business owners. Yes, we can help them get started and so on, but ideally where we look at is for businesses that aren't running a hobby. Number three, they've got to have disposable income to invest into ads, advertising. They've got to be at a certain level in business, this type of stuff. The things that we stipulate within ours. So for you guys, you got to start looking the same route. Okay. You know, do they have to have a job? Do they have to have a certain amount of money set aside to be able to work with you? Do they have to have, you know, do they have to be able to consider themselves to be A or B, right? Or a certain mindset, or do they have to be ready to do something now? This type of stuff, right? They have to be ready to a certain extent to be able to do something. And these are the things that you've got to have in place as well to be able to, you know, add to your repertoire around what you do and qualify somebody. Because if you just spend an hour on the phone with somebody, or you just spent an hour with a new potential client, either in person, drove to them, all these types of things, only to find out that they can't afford the service, they're not a good fit, they're not of a certain mindset, they don't agree with what it is that you're doing, all these types of things. It's just a waste. It's wasted time. So all businesses, you've got to have like up front, you've got to have something there so that somebody can, read through that and say, yep, I'm a good fit. Then they inquire, then they go forward to the next step, etc. Whether that be done manually, whether that be done by automation, right? Like we spoke about in the previous one as well. These are the little things you got to do to be able to really be super clear. I know Sue, who's here as well, who's watching here live too. She just attended our event not that long ago, used a lot of this process as well to re-engage a lot of old prospects. She had 10 inquiries. She's closed to date. How many, Sue? 5 or 6?
5, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was 5 last time we spoke, but we've had a full day in New Zealand now. She might have done more.
6 calls and 5 booked.
6 calls, 5 booked. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So 6 calls were booked out of the 10, and then 5 of them were turned into new business, right? So it's these little things that you guys can all do the exact same as well. You just got to have that criteria there. All these people had the money. All these people have engaged in the service. They value it. They're actively looking to do it now. So for you guys, you got to have the same as well. You got to be searching for these people. You got to be actively working with these people to be able to, take your business to a new level as well. So just little things that you can do within the process is why step 7 that we're talking about today is so important too, because, when it comes to running profitable or producing profitable, scalable marketing campaigns on social media, when it comes to doing that, part of it has got to be that you're not wasting your time with people that don't value you as a business or as a service or don't have the money, all this type of stuff. Now, this is one of those situations where less is more. You do less, but you make more, okay? Just by doing less, you will make more by getting more of the right people through to the next part of the process. Too many people, and we've done this as well, get more people through the process and work harder, but make less. Like one of those catch-22s, which you've got to be really clear on within your marketing strategy, because to become profitable and to become scalable, you got to be focusing on the 20% that gets you 80% of the result, right? Do less, make more. Very, 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 very achievable in social media. You just got to have a different strategy. And for a lot of businesses, and a lot of you that are probably watching this as well, have probably been attracting a lot of the wrong people, right? The 95% that don't value your service, that don't have enough money to pay you for your service properly, all these types of things. These are the little things that you can do, the little switches, right, Serena, that you can turn in those little notches, right? Like if you had one of those little boards, you just go up to the board and just say, turn the profits up, right? Turn the qualification criteria up.
I think as well, sort of sometimes with people is they tend to make it quite hard for themselves because they think that they will want to know what they're doing. It's very hard for them to trust. If you're going to work with someone, put all the strain and pain in their hands. Just give what they want, do what they need, and let your life be so much more easier to and sort of enjoy what comes in. It's not easy doing all this stuff. Sometimes it takes us a good month to set somebody up to be able to get even into the space of what we do. So, it's okay to learn it all and, follow it. And if you've got the time to do it, that's really good. Because I'm one of these people that, I'm geeky. I love to know this stuff. But even I, back in those days, was like, you know what? I just want someone to do this for me, because you're learning a lot of new things that are hard to do, and it does create a lot of pain around it. So, to find someone who can do it good for you, I don't know, that just to me just makes it easier. But I still like to know how they do it, though. It's part and parcel of it for me. But, you know, let's paint and focus on your client. So you can still learn as you're going, but get what you need straight away done, put it out there, get back what you need, get it flowing. And then if you want to learn it after that, that's fine, but you may find that you won't have enough time if you've got plenty of leads coming in, that's all.
A lot of it's, you know, focus on what you, it's the same as, you know, focus on what you're really good at as well and outsource the rest. Focus on what you're really good at and outsource the rest as well. It's the same thing. You can get other people in that are better at doing things that you're not so good at as well. Things will start amplifying again. Your sales will go up. Your business gets more profitable because you do more of what you're really good at. People start getting, you know, more of you and things like that as well within your business, right? So it's these little things that you can do. And this is why it's important to tweak the quality and make sure that you qualify people through as well. And don't let people through their next step unless they're just ultra qualified, right? If you can get people through to that point, you can get people through to that point where they, you know they value you, you know they've got the money, you know they're looking for the service right now, right? All of these different aspects, the sales process turns into like a 50 to 80% close ratio. And, you know, even from cold traffic as well, right? If you really get this right.
I mean, we both can do graphics, you know, reasonably well. I know how to use Adobe Photoshop. I've got every video program under the sun. You know, we have Canva, you know it all. But, you know, do we waste our time being creative when we're not, maybe not as creative, just we know how to use all the programs. And so therefore we have our own graphic people and video people doing that for us. It's just so time saving, you know.
Exactly. It's like doing more with less, right?
Yes.
So, you know, if you can book 20, 30 appointments a week, that's great. Okay. But if all of them don't qualify, you're probably going to get 3 to 4 sales out of the 25, 30 a week. But you could just book then a solid 5 a week and save the extra 20 hours a week and still get the same result. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more beneficial to someone, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm pretty certain so. So, you know, like I would prefer to do 5 sales calls a week and get 4 sales as opposed to 30 appointments a week and 4 sales.
Yeah. Spot on.
I'm sure everyone agrees with us anyway.
They have to because they can't answer.
What was that?
They have to because they can't answer us to say if they don't. So,
well, you know, I
anyway,
prefer to work
so
smarter, not harder.
Tell them about our software program because I just, you know, think it's so amazing that everyone should know about this if they are doing things themselves or, you know, even if they're not, they should have this so they're not going to be paying out a fortune that other people will charge them for funnels and automations and calendars and all that sort of stuff. It's all in one here. Well,
tell me, Serena, how much is ClickFunnels?
Well, I was paying $297 a month because I was using it a lot, but you know, if just one person,
USD.
one funnel is $97 US a month. So yeah, about 150.
Yeah, and then Active Campaign was costing us $100 USD. Then we had a text message service every time we used that. That was a separate thing. Unfortunately, there was no, or we had no subscriptions with that one, which was cool. But, you know, you'd still pay, you know, so many cents per message, which is a separate system again. So you have to log into another one. Then we were using You Can Book Me. Some people use Calendly, but Calendly is the free version is pretty shit. Like you can't put your own automations and stuff into it for follow-up and so on. You have to go get the paid one. I know You Can Book Me was about 20 USD a month on top of that. So where are we at now? What's that? 100 USD plus.
Roughly around 300. And then you've got your analytics as well, your CRM, all that sort of stuff. You know, you're pretty.
All starts to add up anyway. And then, you know, we're
pipeline in it as well too. That just sort of makes it so easy for where everything goes. I don't even know if CRM can do that like that.
Well, most of them, like you kind of go all over the place. So you got like, you know, a separate appointment booking system. You got a separate CRM. You got a separate landing page service. Then you got a separate place to have all your follow-up type stuff and notifications and things like that. And you might track your sales in an Excel spreadsheet. You got like 5 different ones there alone, and they're not, then you might get like a VoIP calling system as well, which will probably cost you. I mean, we're using Close.io. We still use a lot, but that's 150 USD a month on its own as well per user. So if you've got 2 or 3 users on top of that, that's like 300 to 450 USD on top of that. So we're not getting much change out of about 600 to 700 USD at the moment here, approximately, depending on how many users you have across all these systems. So it's kind of adding all up. I guess when you think about it, the software system that we use, which is just on the screen there as well, it's got everything all in one place, and it only costs you just under 100 Australian dollars. It kind of makes sense. The biggest challenges we found with software these days is there literally is software for everything, and it's a pain in the behind trying to work out which ones to use and which ones not to use, because there's so many things that one has that another one doesn't, but then the one that doesn't have it has some other things that you're like, oh yeah, they're really good as well, and you kind of get stuck in between, like, which software do I go with? Whereas now we kind of just have it all in one spot. It all talks. It talks with, Google Maps. Hey?
It talks English also.
Talks English, yeah, it does talk English. Yeah, it talks really good English. I think the best things is knowing where your pipeline's at, knowing how much you've got to follow up and everything. I think the best things is also tracking all of your social platforms and your traffic that go to all of your websites, your funnels and everything. Your Google Maps integrations and traffic there as well, tracking how many people search on your Google Maps listing every single month. You can kind of see that every single day even, which is pretty cool. All of your automation, your email automations, your text message automations, physical conversations with people within the CRM via either email or text message, which is really cool. Everything just gets kept in the one spot. You don't miss any inquiries because you get notifications when there's some there that are unread. I think there's heaps of benefits on using this particular software that we use as well. And it's nice that there's one here that's actually in Australian dollars as opposed to US dollars, right? Most of them are always in US dollars, which you have to add about 28 to 30% to the price tag.
Well, I remember what it was like before, where I'd have 3 or 4 different websites over, and I was trying to integrate them all together. And don't get me wrong, ClickFunnels is okay, but it had a few things sort of with it. Active Campaign, sometimes it played up on me. It wouldn't quite get the emails the way I needed to do them. And when you wanted to put an image in there, it wouldn't put it right in the middle of the email. You had to do different sections and stuff like that, which is what I like about, our software, because you don't have to make separation or it goes on the side or something like that. So, it's, I like it. I love it.
A lot easier to use.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Anyway, guys, so if you want a free trial of that, you can grab a free trial for it for 14 days. Check it out. marketingblueprint.com.au/software. It's just in the link in the comments as well below the video. You can go and check that one out. The episode is all done for today. Part 7 completed. Make sure you go back and listen to the recording. If you haven't seen it all yet, just go back and watch the recording. It's going to give you all the information on exactly part 7 and the importance of being able to qualify a lot of, the traffic that's coming through from your marketing campaigns as well. Actually, this Friday is going to be huge, the episode. We're going to be talking more in depth around, once you've got that qualified type prospects, how do you go about really turning it into revenue now? It's actually a pretty exciting side of this next episode as well, because the next episode can really add to finding more of these qualified ones, but more importantly, start turning more of those into revenue for your business as well. And, if you can really tweak this part, it could be worth an extra 1 or 2 a month. And, if the average spend with your clients lifetime value is like $2,000-$3,000, you convert another 2 or 3 of those a month, it could be worth between $6,000 to $9,000 plus depending on what the lifetime value of a client is for your business. So, you know, this can be, and that per month can make a huge difference to the top line of a business as well. So we're going to be talking about that in part 8 this Friday as well. Make sure you check that out, because that's going to give you heaps more on how you can really start converting a lot better, and how you can really start turning a lot more people into revenue for your business as well. So thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode, everyone. If you are watching the replay as well and you've got this far, just let us know that you watched the replay as well. You want to go back and listen to this episode. If you haven't seen part 1 to part 6, make sure that you do. Just do a binge watch here on the page. If you got a little bit of free time today, it will give you heaps and heaps to go by.
I'm laughing because Sue thought she was messaging on here and she wasn't. She was messaging in Facebook. So she's been talking to us all along, but it's shown somewhere else. So it's just, we're having a bit of a laugh over it.
Okay. Too easy. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Just remember this one thing before we go today. Number 1 is just make sure that you are here on Friday. But if you do not fight for your own freedom, absolutely nobody else will. So every single day you must get out there. Every single day you must take action. Every single day you must make it happen. Remember to be the warrior. We'll see you Friday, same time, 1 p.m. Perth time, 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And that's 5 p.m. New Zealand. So make sure that you are here Friday. It's going to be a huge episode. Look forward to seeing you all then. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Bye.